Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight I'm here to talk to you for a few minutes about Without a Crystal Ball, Katie Joy possibly, allegedly trying to sue Emily D. Baker, who is an attorney commentary channel here on YouTube. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Alright you guys, so I told you the next time I would make a video was when something was worth talking about, and I think that this is worth talking about. So this video came up on this channel, Truth Sleuth, and she had the video title, Without a Crystal Ball is suing Emily D. Baker and Tati's lawyer, which is Saltzy. Michael Saltz is his full name. Here's the thing. I want you guys to know. I respect Emily D. Baker as an attorney, but I really want to talk about this as just a general concept and not me, coming at it like a super fan of Emily. I just want to talk about it as a general concept because in my personal opinion, this is the absolute worst thing that Katie could do to herself while she's already dealing with the defamation suit with Tati. To try to project and do the same thing to someone else, which she has no grounds to stand on, in my opinion, is very asinine. One of the things I think a lot of people consider, but maybe not everyone, is that having attorneys involved in anything is extremely expensive. I don't quite understand where Katie thinks all this money is going to come from in between, what she has going on with the defamation suit with Tati. Now she's making threats against other people. All of these attorneys as a whole are charging immense hourly rates. There's a ton of work being done. And now she wants to turn around and threaten to sue two attorneys. I don't know, you guys. In the last video I did about her, I sort of gave her some honest advice, and that was me being completely honest and transparent, giving a little bit of advice. We all know she's not going to listen to it, but I really don't understand if there's any critical thinking involved in this, because the actions that she has shown, not once, not twice, not three times, but several times, it really makes me wonder, is there any critical thinking being done on her part? And I don't think that there is. And if you want to look at this and say, she's just upset, she's just saying this, I don't really think that I would just be saying that I'm going to sue an attorney or two attorneys. If I say I'm going to sue someone, it's because it's already in progress. I'm not just going to throw something out there because I'm upset or in the moment. So for those of you that don't know, I'm sure you do, there are a handful of YouTube attorneys that have been covering this defamation case with Tati and Without a Crystal Ball. Emily D. Baker has seen substantial growth because of her coverage on Katie and the entire lawsuit. There is also, I'll put his channel name on the screen. I think it's Civil something. I'll find it. I'll put it on the screen. And I think that there might be a couple others that I just don't know about. But the point that I'm trying to make is I think that she's going after Emily. In my opinion, I think that there is some underlying jealousy there. As Katie has shown in the past to do, she is jealous of people. Honestly, in my opinion, I do think that jealousy is one of the most unattractive characteristics to have. And if you do have it and you put it out on full display, I just find it extremely tacky and unattractive, but that's just me. When it comes to Katie going after Emily D. Baker, I think that I don't think Katie's happy with the growth that Emily D. Baker has had, and I think that that's why she's being singled out, because from what I know, I don't think that these other YouTube attorneys have had the substantial growth that Emily has had. And I think that she's had it, in my opinion, I think Emily needs to stay on the same path that she's on and continue to cover the lawsuit, don't get into the drama, stay off the drama, and I think that she'll do really well. You know, it's kind of a hard line to walk, I would imagine, because it would be very easy to put your opinion out there and talk about drama and all of this kind of stuff from a legal standpoint. I just think she needs to continue doing what she's done, cover the lawsuit and nothing else. So Katie's personal problems started with Emily back in November. This tweet that Katie put out said on November 8th, Team YouTube at the Emily D. Baker is using her platform to defame me along with the help of an attorney. I would like your help. Thanks. So Emily did respond, and she said, at this point, you should have a clear grasp of what is and isn't defamation. There is nothing defamatory on my channel. There is commentary, which I agree. I have not seen personally, now granted, I haven't seen every single one of Emily's videos talking about Katie Joy, but the ones that I have seen, I've never heard her say anything defamatory towards Katie. Me personally, you guys can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm all ears. And Katie responded again and said, Emily, why did you allegedly mislead people yesterday and act like what you read to them was a filing from court? There was no court filing and there has been no response. Why are you hanging out with accounts that have targeted, doxed, and stalked me? Make that make sense. And I think that there's some sort of personal issue that Katie has with Emily obtaining court documents so quickly. And I don't really understand why that's such a big deal. You know, as long as Emily is just doing what she does, legal commentary, she makes legal jargon make sense for the everyday person. That's what I've gone to her channel for, to understand legal terms and listen to her break down court documents in a way that I can understand them. Some of the stuff still goes over my head, I'm being really honest, but for the most part, I think that she does a decent job at making things easy to comprehend. So I don't know what Katie is talking about here, acting like it was a filing from court. I have no idea. But I also don't think Emily would be that dumb to read something that wasn't a court filing. So I don't know what happened with that. But that was back on November 8th. And then Katie also on the same day said, just because you are a former prosecutor, it doesn't give you the right to defame a party to a lawsuit without evidence. As an attorney, you should know that all parties have a right to share their side, and it's irresponsible to pick a side before you have all the facts. And I was watching her back in November when all of this was happening. I've never heard Emily say anything that was actually defamatory. I heard her read a lot of documents and share her expertise as far as being an attorney, but the actual definition of defamation is the action of damaging the good reputation of someone, slander, or libel. Now, let's talk about the good reputation of someone. When this lawsuit first kicked off, based on what I know about Katie, I wouldn't really say that she had a good reputation on the internet. In fact, I would say it was quite the opposite at that point. Even if you don't even want to consider that part of it, what her reputation was when all of this kind of kicked off, I still think that there's got to be some strong language put out in order for defamation to be proven. And I haven't heard anything with my own two ears, but like I said, I am open to talk to you guys. If you guys know something that I don't, let's talk about it and have a conversation. Moving on, she put another tweet out. You know how Katie likes to go on these Twitter, novel writing sessions. Emily Baker is not being truthful. She's never one time asked me for my side and is hanging out with people that have me. Funny how there are two sides to every story. These accounts are trolling me, not the other way around. First, let's talk about asking Katie for her side. Of all the people that Katie Joy Without a Crystal Ball has ever covered on her channel, I feel like the percentage of people that she actually reached out to obtain their side of their story is very, very small. So that's my opinion, that Out of everyone that she's talked about, I don't think that she reaches out to people. I think that what she does is, you know, she just wants to put her video out, which is fine. If that's the way that you're going to do things, fine. But then don't get upset when other people don't contact you to get your side of their story. This is all up for debate. We're commentary channels. Now, even though I don't necessarily approve of the way every commentary channel covers people, that's here nor there. What I'm saying is, if you are on YouTube, it's kind of part of the gig. As long as someone isn't lying about you and, you know, coming out with insane claims that absolutely make zero sense, then that would be one thing. But what Emily has been doing is covering the legal side of things, looking at these documents and having conversations with her subscribers about things revolving around the lawsuit. So now we fast forward to December 6th of 2020. Katie put out a tweet that said, "One creator that I lashed out at did not deserve it. Emily Baker," she doesn't even call her by her real name, either way, "I apologize for my comments weeks ago. They weren't appropriate, unprofessional, and uncalled for. I wish you the best on your channel. Also, everything with this case will make sense in the future." Here we are, January 8th. We're more than a month later. You know, I haven't seen anything make sense still, even with everything that's unfolded over the past few weeks, but that's fine. We still have tons of time when it comes to how long this case is going to play out. So that's fine. I'm not going to, you know, completely shut her down for everything making sense. I'm very skeptical, and I don't really think that it's going to make a whole lot of sense, but fine. Reading this tweet, you would have thought that she realized that what she did was wrong, and we're going to move on from this. Maybe she had a moment of realization that because she is a YouTuber and she's doing outlandish things, that people are going to talk about her, and maybe she finally realized that that's just the way it is. Someone responded the same day, December 6th, and said, "How can you expect us to take you seriously when you make an apology? Valid question. When we know you're going to do something else problematic that you'll have to apologize for in a couple of weeks, like clockwork." Katie responded and said, "Thanks so much for your feedback. You don't have to take me seriously, but this apology is sincere." I completely understand what this individual was saying. Her name was Kat. The problem is that when you apologize and you apologize and you apologize, and then sometimes you apologize and delete the apology, or you apologize for something and then do the same exact thing that you just apologized for, you know, in the near future, people are going to call things into question, and it's completely fair based on, you know, Katie's online presence. She has given people all of the material to formulate this opinion that she's only going to repeat herself in the future. If I was looking at this on December 6th, I would have said, give her some time. She will either prove herself right, or she will prove this girl Kat right by not, you know, making it clear that it wasn't a sincere apology. Moving forward, I don't know when this tweet was put out by Michael Saltz, which is the attorney for the Westbrooks, but I think that it was within the last couple of days. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen for you guys with the date. Is this true? Are KJ subs and followers bought? Is that why KJ, with 137,000 subs, has viewers in the hundreds in her lives, and the Emily D. Baker, with half the subs, has approximately 6,000 in her lives? How can I prove this? What evidence is out there that will show this? As far as the number of people in her lives, I completely see where he's coming from. The way that Katie will try to defend this is she will say that her views are down because she's being dragged and people aren't happy with her. And while I do partially understand that, the numbers to me have never made sense. This has been something that I've thought about for a while, and I've thought about it with several creators where they have this number of subscribers, but all that you can do is look at the engagement and see that video views are down, or, you know, they have a fair amount of subscribers and only 60 people or 75 people in a live stream. Like, those kinds of things don't reconcile for me. While it might be one explanation for Katie, I don't really believe the route that she's taking with trying to explain this away. In my personal opinion, I don't have evidence for this, but in my opinion, what I think happened was people started unsubscribing from her channel because they were sick and tired of the shenanigans. And in order to float that number and make sure that it wasn't drastically dropping, because she realizes that people would have looked at it and made comments, and she's trying to save face right now, right? So what I believe happened is that as she started declining, she would pick up some subscribers in order to make that number stay in the same ballpark. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, I have no facts to prove that, but anytime you're curious about that, all you have to do is look at the number of subscribers that the person has. If their video views are on average 30 to 40% of what their audience is consistently, I would say that I can make sense of that. But if you have a channel with 25,000 subscribers, or say 20,000, and their videos struggle to hit 1,000 views on a consistent basis, that would leave me scratching my head, but that's just me. And then someone else on Twitter, I don't know who this person is, devilworks_hard, very interesting, said, "Oh, I love this. If hashtag without a crystal ball bought subs or got low views, it only hurts the defamation argument. That means even less viewers who actually encountered her videos on Tati. A small and unpopular channel spoke about your client. The chances of her hurting sales are minuscule." Here's the thing, I don't really buy into this, because the problem is not only how many people were viewing the videos, here's what I think they need to do. They need to go to YouTube and pull all of the available analytics to see everything on the back end. What kind of subscribers she has in Washington, how many super chats she has collected from people in Washington. I think that they also need to, you know, even if the videos were privated, there has to be a way that YouTube can still pull the analytics from a video that was deleted. There has to be a way that they can do that. I could be wrong, but I mean, YouTube is a massive tech company. Like, you're trying to tell me that you delete something and it's really gone forever. I don't know if I believe that, but I don't know. I think they need to lay all of the analytics out, because a lot of these kind of floating questions that are out there would be answered if they could just do a deep dive into the analytics of Without a Crystal Ball YouTube channel. So now we go to the last, I would say, I think 2 days is when most of this stuff has gone down on Twitter. So Katie put out a tweet that said, "This is all a product of the lawsuit. They defame me. Emily's day is coming. Trust me, she has no idea." That sounds like a very heavy threat to put out there against someone, and especially when all that she's been doing is legal commentary. Again, to my knowledge, that's what I've seen and heard with my own eyes and ears. I haven't seen anything being discussed to make people unsubscribe or leave Katie. In my opinion, the people that are leaving her are making their own educated decisions on who they feel comfortable spending their social media currency on. And they've come to this crossroads where They're tired of all of the shenanigans. They subscribe to get coverage of Teen Mom or whoever, but they've ended up supporting this YouTuber who is extremely problematic, showing toxic behavior all over the internet, and unable to come to grips with her own reality. And her own reality is that she is in the middle of a massive, massive lawsuit, and now she's threatening to sue attorneys. That's why they're leaving. So Katie did respond to the claims that she buys subscribers, and she said, "I don't buy subs, and I'd appreciate this harassment and defamation by the opposing counsel to stop." And I don't necessarily think that, again, I don't see harassment or defamation. He was asking a question on, is this true? And if it is true, where is the evidence? I don't find anything wrong with questions being asked. She also responded and said, "Don't pretend you don't know why I'm not getting views. It's the continued lies, defamation, and using channels like Emily to defame me. Don't worry, all of your days are coming. Defamation goes both ways." While I understand, I think that a lot of people are, not wanting to support her anymore, I think that those people have also left her channel. So here's the thing I think is happening. She's losing subscribers, picking up new subscribers. So the number stays the same, but there aren't actual real people watching and engaging with her video. So the subscriber count is high, but the engagement is low because that gap that's there now is filled with subscribers. And just a little side note on buying subscribers. This is something I've never been able to comprehend. Growth on YouTube can be very frustrating. It can feel like nobody's discovering your channel. Does anyone even know that I'm out there? Trust me, I was under 1,000 subscribers for over a year on YouTube. And I know people are under 1,000 subscribers for multiple years on YouTube. And it can feel like you're posting these videos and they're just going to a black hole. I remember days where I would put out a video, and if it got 30 views, I was doing really good. But I enjoyed making the content. So it was a struggle, and it's still a struggle sometimes. I've picked up some traction, and I have found my core audience of people who watch all of my videos, and it's amazing. And, I talk to them in DMs and all of that. It's beautiful. Even when I was sitting there and only getting 20 to 30 views on a video, it never crossed my mind to buy subscribers, because I always realized that, okay, so let's just say you buy 1,000 subscribers. So you have 1,000 subscribers, but your video views are still only getting 20 to 30 views. How does that make sense? And for me, I'm just not the type to fake it till I make it. I'd rather know that every single digit that's on my subscriber count number thing, I want to know that those are real people. I don't want an inflated number just to be able to say, oh, I have 10,000 subscribers, I have 15,000 subscribers, because anyone with a brain can look at the numbers your videos are getting and look at the amount of comments and come up with their own conclusion and realize that you're bullshitting your way through your presence on YouTube. Katie also put out a tweet that said, "You defame me and then question why my channel and business has taken a hit. The steps you take to ruin my credibility each and every day out of revenge and to make an example out of me is sinister." Again, I think that this is deflection. This is being in complete denial of the mess that you are in. This is not being able to look at the reality in a clear light and see that this is real shit that's going down. There are real dollars being spent on this, and there are people's livelihoods at stake, specifically Katie and anyone who resides with her or relies on her as a source of income. I think that it's very sad for that reason. Not for her, but for other people who rely on her. It's heartbreaking and it's sad to see. And again, I go back to the first 4 C&Ds that were sent to her. Why, after the first or the second one, she couldn't just say, okay, you won this one, I'm done. I'm going to wash my hands of it because I want to keep my platform and I want to continue to grow and I want to continue to allow YouTube to pay me a salary so that I can take care of myself and my family and be at home and make videos and do something that I love. It would have been so easy to just walk away. Then Katie put out another tweet and said, Emily is not unbiased at all. We have reached out to her and she has never responded. She is fed info from Saltz and we will prove she's conspiring with him. Again, no grounds for this claim to even exist. No idea where she has this idea. Again, as someone looking at this, as someone who has watched a fair amount of Emily's videos, I don't believe that she would risk her platform and her credibility in order to work with another attorney just to make Katie look bad. I think that Katie can do that all on her own. And then on the 7th, which I don't know if these are all going in order, I hope that they are, Katie also said, y'all, some lied in a sworn declaration, allegedly, and it wasn't me, but no one is talking about it. It's so weird. I don't know who she's pointing the finger at. I don't know who would have lied in a sworn declaration. I would hope that nobody would have done that because court, lawsuit, legal, laws, it's sort of serious shit. You don't really want to be lying about, anything surrounding any of those topics. But again, I think that this all comes back to her deflecting because she's so frustrated with everything. Instead of coming to terms with what the truth is and what's actually happening, her energy would be so much better invested in actually making sure that she doesn't lose everything to her name, instead of ranting on Twitter, going on YouTube Live and talking about the lawsuit, then going on Instagram Live and throwing shade at other people, or just continuing to dig her hole. I wish that she, and I know she won't, I'm not dumb, I just wish that she would realize that her energy would be better used in several other places aside from the way that she's been acting, because nobody's defaming her. They're talking about things that Katie has actually done or actually said and providing commentary on it. What Emily is doing is no different than what other commentary channels are doing, except the fact that she is an attorney. She's reviewing the legal documents and giving commentary from the seat of someone who's an attorney. Other commentary channels are sometimes looking at legal documents, sometimes looking at tweets or parts of a YouTube video and giving their commentary on it. She really has it out for Emily, and I wish she would realize how dumb she looks. Emily put out a tweet on the 7th that said, KJ and her stans failed to grasp that if KJ stopped being messy on social, this lawsuit would proceed filing to filing, but snipping at people, talking about the case, removing posts, etc. is all relevant. Also, I had no idea who she was prior to getting sued. A lot of people didn't know who Without a Crystal Ball was before this lawsuit came up. I happen to know about her because I discovered her last year because of the Micah Stauffer videos that she was doing. I was a short-time subscriber. I realized that I didn't like the way that she was handling her channel. I unsubscribed. I made a video sharing with my subscribers why I stopped watching Without a Crystal Ball, because in a prior video I had suggested Without a Crystal Ball's channel to my audience, and I felt like it was fair to also let them know why I stopped supporting Without a Crystal Ball. I've done that to other creators as well, and I will in the future if I need to. Hopefully I don't. If I hadn't found her because of the Micah Stauffer stuff, I wouldn't have known who she was. I would have obviously heard about it because I follow beauty drama and stuff like that. It would have come on my radar, but there were many people who didn't have any clue who Katie was. And then Katie also said, Emily is in so much trouble, she has no clue. And then she also said, this was actually put out today at 12:47 a.m. She said, no need to screenshot and send everything to someone else. Stop telling me what I can and can't do. Someone is gaslighting you and it's not me. And puts up the... I don't think anyone's gaslighting anyone in this situation. In my opinion, I do think that there's been some gaslighting from Without a Crystal Ball. I think that there has been gaslighting with other creators, but I don't believe that Emily D. Baker has been one of them. Again, I'll repeat what I said earlier. She's an attorney who is able to give commentary from a legal stance, and based on my seat, that's all that I've seen. Okay, so this is, I think, the last tweet. Without a Crystal Ball said, imagine being hired as an attorney to file a baseless lawsuit, then running a smear campaign on Twitter to seek revenge for reporting from public records, knowing damn well the person being sued isn't the source of your client's issues. Then imagine getting sued for it. So she's essentially sort of trying to lead people to think that she is going to sue Michael Saltz. So here is the problem. When she talks about a Twitter smear campaign, I've seen smear campaigns done on people. It's very hurtful and it's very, very irresponsible. I haven't seen that from Saltz to Katie. But as far as her reporting on public records, let's go back to the issue and what got her in this situation from the jump. The issue is that she spread a false narrative about Tati, but not only Tati, also her husband, alleged that Tati's father was either dead or in the mafia because Katie couldn't find his birth certificate. And then she also said that James Westbrook took his mother's oxygen supply off so that he could gain financially. And he also drained his mother's house of equity. This is not reporting on public records. Reporting on public records would be finding, a news article and reading the news article, or even looking at court documents and reading the court documents. I don't believe that all court documents should be brought to YouTube. That's a whole nother conversation, but that would be reporting from public records. What Katie did was come up with this huge extravagant story in order to gain subscribers and views, and had no basis for spreading the lies that she was spreading, was then given 4 warnings to please stop, it's over now. She ignored those, and now here we are in the middle of a lawsuit, and she can still not come to the realization that everything is falling apart around her. And her continuing to talk is only digging her hole deeper. Katie also said, email communications go both ways. Trust me, just like I'm being watched, so are you. We know everything. And someone responded to her and said, what? W-U-T instead of W-H-A-T. And of course, Katie had to be, bitchy, and responded and said, judging my, supposed to be bio, was a typo, your grammar, this is over your intelligence level. I know that Katie is really mean to her subscribers, but as YouTubers, can we stop doing this? Can we stop absolutely berating people over a comment that they leave, asking if it's anything opposing your opinion? Can we stop calling them stupid or saying it's over your intelligence level, or insulting them or telling them to, get the fuck off your channel? These kinds of things really, and I don't care what other YouTubers do, but it makes you look like such an ugly monster. It really does. When you say things like this to people who just have a question or an opposing view, you come and lash out at them and question their intelligence level. Can we not do that? It's really, really ugly. And then Katie put out another tweet that said, Emily Baker, be honest with your audience. Tell them that you never responded to my email about putting you in touch with my counsel. I told you that you could be given our side from my counsel, but you never responded nor contacted him. That's not being unbiased. I don't think that Emily owes Katie this, open communication. I think that she has every right to obtain the court documents, read them to her audience, have a conversation about them, and then sign off. And that's exactly what she has done. Then Katie said, take a look at her Twitter account, and it's clear to see who she communicates with about this case, and it's not people from my side. See where she gets her leaks from. It's not my side. I'm not saying she's working for anyone. I'm saying she's not unbiased. Now, here's one thing that I will say. While I don't think that Emily needs to talk to Katie directly, if there are receipts to show that she's having conversations with Michael Saltz, could that be some sort of bias? Sure. Take that with a grain of salt, because the way that I look at it is, how is she actually reporting the information? What is she reporting? Is she being vocal about Tati being right all the time and Katie being wrong all the time? No, I think that she's still come at it from a very neutral standpoint based on what I've seen. Okay, so the last tweet, finally, this girl writes novels all day long. Katie then said, when a giant is going up against a mouse, their audience will trample you. Commentators will typically side with the larger audience because they don't want to deal with the backlash. Just remember that. While I do understand what Katie is trying to get at here, I don't think that it applies to her situation. I do think that people will sometimes support the person who is more popular, because I've seen it with my own two eyes happen on this platform. But I don't think that that applies to Katie's case. I think that there is so much proof, so much evidence, so many receipts out there that people have just made up their mind about her. They're done with the shenanigans. They're done with the sassiness. They're tired of supporting a mean girl and someone who is, consistently playing the victim and consistently whining about people coming for her and calling critics trolls. And you guys know the whole list. We're all well versed in the way that she presents herself online. So I will say I understand what she's trying to get out here, but I just don't think that it applies to her situation. So that is the last tweet that she put out. My overall thoughts on this is, I think that Katie is doing a whole lot of talking. In my opinion, I don't think that she's going to actually try to sue an attorney or attorneys. I just don't see that happening. I think that the money that's being spent in this lawsuit that she's currently in is way over her head, and I don't know where all this money is going to come from for the legal fees alone. I think that she is very upset, and I think that she is deflecting and trying to come up with points that aren't going to be able to be proven. So you guys support who you want to support. That's my opinion on Emily. I think that she's doing legal commentary. I haven't seen her, be super on Tati's side or super on KJ's side. But again, if you guys look at it differently and you want to talk about it, feel free to leave me a comment. It is really crazy to look at this and think that we're only in the beginning. And look at all of the things that have happened. I will say what I said in my last video. Katie needs to stop digging her hole, and I know she won't. Like I said, I'm not ignorant. She'll continue, but I will never understand people that are put in a position where they have this great following on YouTube. They're doing what they love by making videos online, and then something changes and you see this other side of them, and it just sort of snowballs from there. And with this situation, she had an opportunity to save herself and save the income that was allowing her to stay at home and make videos. But she chose not to because she is self-righteous and entitled and oblivious to how badly all of this could end. So that's my thoughts on Without a Crystal Ball alleging that she's going to sue Emily D. Baker and Michael Saltz. We will see where this goes. Again, I'm going to make videos on Katie as needed. They're not going to be every single day, but if something like this happens, it's definitely worth talking about. I want to hear what you guys think about it too. But for now, if you like the video, please leave me a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.